Hi, my name is Kathy and welcome to It's in the Details. Today is part 2 of coloring with Plume markers, and these are the markers we used in part 1 and part 2. I like to fold a piece of recycled paper and use it underneath my image before I start coloring. I've pre-stamped this image and I've colored some of the petals green to turn them into leaves. Now we're getting started with V742, the lightest color I have that I'd selected, and I'm feathering my color into my petals, as you can see here. This is the first layer of color. You know, it doesn't need to be perfect, fancy. You just want to move the color further down the petal, rotate your image, and continue coloring. Don't you wish you could speed up your cooking around the kitchen, make things really super fast? That'd be so awesome. Now we're picking up B705 and we're going to bring in some of that darker color. There's a couple different ways we can do it. Sometimes I put it on a palette, but I had this piece of plastic laying here and it's flat and I just decided to use it. So I'm laying down some of the color of my marker, and I'm going to take my lighter color, the V742, and pick up the color with that. So I put my purple tip into the blue and use it as a paintbrush and bring the color in that way. So you have to keep reapplying the color onto your marker as you go around the petals. This is very effective if you have a really dark color and a light color and you don't want to keep blending. As you can see, it just brings in a little bit of the color. Now I need to reapply my marker onto my quote-unquote palette to continue to pick up more of the color to put on the petals. Hope that makes sense. Now these Plume markers, I've really enjoyed using them. I love the brush tip. And yes, you can mix them with other markers. They're alcohol-based, so you can certainly mix them with other alcohol-based markers. Now I'm making sure I get all the blue off of my tip. I just did that on the side of my paper. And I'm going back with the same color, the light lavender, the 742, and I'm blending back into the petal some of the color that I just put down with the blue, just to make them blend a little bit more. It's not always necessary. It depends on how you like your coloring. Especially if you look at a real flower, you'll see that, you know, there's lines, there's white showing. So, you know, just have fun, play around. And I know some people stress about coloring, but it's really about relaxing and having a nice time. Now I'm showing you a way to palette blend and get some soft colors using a really bright color. Now there's another way. If you want more vibrancy in your image, just take that dark marker, which I think we're using now, B708, and go ahead and just put that on your flower first in the beginning and work that around your image. I always like to kind of, as you can see, stagger the coloring. I usually don't cut out my image before I color it, but sometimes I do things backwards. Now after adding this darker color, again, you always want to reblend, go back to that tip and bring the color back up into the blue to get a nice, let the alcohol markers do its magic. In part 1 video, I show you how I do the white dots and how I like to outline my images. When you finish coloring, color the center brown, and then you can either put a nice big button on it or several buttons. I like to put down a layer of glossy accents and then sprinkle flower soft on top, and I think it gives you that realistic center. Add some white dots. And that's it. This is the card from part 1. And this is the one from part 2. And this flower pot is from Spellbinders. I love it. Thank you so much for watching. And I'll see you at the next installment of It's in the Details.